Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, this is BestInSlot and we are back playing Jurassic World Evolution in our attempts to rebuild the 1993 classic OG Jurassic Park. Now, in the last episode we started on our Brachiosaurus paddock. We've done most of the design work. We do need to stop bringing in the other dinosaurs. It is looking pretty nice. This time I have a reference image up on the screen next to me and we're just going to make a couple of minor changes. Just tiny changes to bring it a little bit more in line with what the real design looks like. So the main thing I want to do is have the water come a little bit further across there, but a little bit less on this side here. There's kind of like a double-edged, I'm going to mess around this a little bit more now, but it's kind of like a double, tippy pointed little bit of island that kind of sticks out from the right hand side where all the parasaurs kind of congregate. So that's kind of what I'm aiming for right now. And this isn't... That's, no, what are you doing? Stop that right now. There we go. We're just going to mess around with it a little bit until it looks approximately correct to me. And a little less weird. That looks bizarre, right? That might actually be somewhat accurate, but it looks weird. I'm not down for weird. There we go, that's more like it. And does that land extend? It probably comes up a little bit further, about there maybe. And then the backside is very full of trees, right, like so. But the right-hand side, let's just clear the forest there, because that kind of seems to extend out into a woodland, plains sort of area. And then it curves out in lots of different ways, but I can't really do anything about that. There are also actually, now that I look at it, trees here, and a couple of trees there. A little bit further to the left, maybe. Just at the sort of bottom of the hill, before the lake pops into question. Something, slightly less, there we go, something like that. That's a bit more accurate to what it looks like in the film, I would say. So we actually need to populate this with some dinosaurs. This is going to take a little while. So what we're going to do today is fill that with all the other dinosaurs, get the parasaurs shot over, get the Brachiosaurus shot over, and while we're doing that, we'll start working on the next part of the park, which is going to be over here, and it's going to be our visitor center kind of thing. There's a couple of things I want to address. Since people do keep asking. I need to think about this. I think I want to stick with success rate. I think it's quite important on this park that our dinosaurs have a very long lifespan. So we'll max out the parasaur and we'll go from there. I'm also trying to think what skin pattern we want to use. The problem with the parasaur is that the alternate skin colours are very vivid. They're all very green or very dark green or whatever. They're all very... I think we're going to stick with defaults. I know people have suggested that some of the other skins would be better ideas. But, for example, with the Triceratops that people have been suggesting in the comments, the Triceratops in Jurassic Park is actually like a blue colour. You don't see it because of the dirt and stuff. It gives it a very different skin colour to what we see in the film. But the actual default animatronic was sort of bluish in colour. I think we're going to stick with the defaults for now. If there's a definite one that I want to change, I'll look into it later on. But for now, we're going to stick default. Yeah, so we can do this like this. I think it's going to look good if they're all the same colour as well. I think that's going to look better. We're just going to get 8 parasaurs. I mean, that's a lot of parasaurs, but hey, that's how many are in the film. Now, I also want to address some other questions and queries people have had. Whilst in the map version of Jurassic Park, or in the novel version of Jurassic Park, there was several creatures that didn't appear in the film, the goal of this is really just to build... It's not to build an exact replica of the park. People have questioned like the orientation and stuff like that. At the end of the day, guys, this here is not the shape of Isla Nublar or the Jurassic Park map. I cannot build a literal one-to-one recreation of Jurassic Park for countless reasons in this game. What I'm trying to do is build a tour experience that feels like you are experiencing Jurassic Park, the film, as they did in the film. Frankly, given the amount of room I'm going to be using, there isn't space to do much else, because I'd like to recreate quite a few different aspects of it. So there's no room for like a Metriacanthosaurus exhibit, for example, which we know, potentially at least, would have existed. So I hope that all makes sense. That's not to say we can't do some stuff in the future, but for now, that's what we're doing. I need to check my little image here. Right, so the next thing we're going to do is build a visitor centre. I'm just having a little think. I think what we want to do is make this bit flat with that. So if we put some trees here, so you don't really see that indent anymore. There, and we're going to pull this. Last time we moved this further out, but I actually think the path can be quite close to this. You don't really see this area behind the visitor centre much. All we know is there's quite like a straight lake sort of shape. So to help us build said straight lake, we're going to put down a little fence. I think it's straight. I don't see any evidence to the contrary. I think it's very clearly like a little man-made sort of thing. So that's going to sit probably about there and be about that wide. And the idea is we'll use the fence to get a nice shape and fill that in with water. So it exactly matches up with the film. Then the Innovation Center will sit there as our kind of replica, and we'll do some other designy stuff to make it look pretty. Basically, landscaping, water. Let's get that nice and wet. Does it do anything about the fence? It doesn't have to be. We can always mess around in a bit. It's fine. I think if you use a path instead, it might actually work out better now that I think about it. But that's still a pretty good shape. And we can grab our big old destruction tool here and hopefully just neaten that up a little bit at the edges. I just want it to have that Jurassic Park feel to it, you know, like you're touring the park. It's never going to be accurate. Hopefully they come out with a bigger island so we've got a bit more room to play with, and then we can build our own island shape within the island, you know. But at the moment we are very much confined to the limits of Isla Nublar. That's a pretty cool rectangle. It's not quite perfect, which is even better. You know, it's got some little divots in it. I love a divot. I'm all about the divots. Right. Parasaurs, release them to the world. All of you. Many, many parasaurs.
Request acknowledged.
I know they're not perfect color-wise and stuff, but I do much prefer the default parasaur in this game to all the others, basically. It's a noble, beautiful moment as it gets absolutely blasted by various darts. I'm just going to get these moving over straight away. We have many parasaurs to go. We are going to put these straight to the bottom. They're going to move around at the end of the day. There's not really much we can do about that. It is what it is. Unfortunately, oh no, I shot it too quickly. It's blocked in the hatchery, I think. It's definitely blocked in the hatchery. Oopsie daisy. What was I going to say? Oh, look at that. Perfect, perfect. Brachiosaur right there. Stupid feeder. Do 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 do. It's beautiful, man. It just works. It just works. Where is it? Where's it gone? That is primo Jurassic Park right there. Primo, ladies and gentlemen. Can we mess around with the field of view a bit? No, that way. Lovely stuff. Okay, enough of that. Mess around with that in a little bit. Next time, we're going to release all the parasaurs and then start the shooting. At the end of the day, as far as I'm aware, breakouts are off, so it doesn't really matter if my dinosaurs get a little bit upset, as long as they don't die, basically. Are you gonna release now? Considering it, thinking about it, maybe want to come join us in the rest of the park? No? No, we good? Okay, we're not going to bother. Oh, yeah, there we go. Bloody Nora. Alright, so that's 4 so far, once they all make it across. Okay, let's carry on with this. So, I think the path from this side comes in relatively straight. Like so. And then it curves off to the left. Yeah, we're going to curve off to the left because I want to maintain that. But usually what it would do, I think it would carry on further that way. But obviously we need to use up more of the map. And also I don't want to go straight to the Dilophosaurus. Like I say, this isn't necessarily going to be directly there at all, but I'd like to integrate some things from Jurassic Park history. So what I'd like to try to do is integrate the raptor hatchery and that whole kind of area. Now, I don't know if we can do that within this game, but I did see someone on Reddit built a pretty cool version. So I'm going to check out what they did for the next episode and see if we can do something. Just steal their ideas, basically. But hopefully get some ideas for how you would build a pretty cool looking raptor hatchery. Because it's an important part of the film, and I want people to experience that as they go through my park. It's important to get these going one by one. You can only transfer 3 dinosaurs at a time, so if we wait for all 8 to appear, then we will be here for bloody ages. If you could stop blocking the frickin' hatchery, though. I mean, you're not even in front of it. Why aren't you releasing? Ah. At times like this, I wish I'd had a second hatchery, but this is pretty much the only time that will ever be a factor. So I guess it's not that big a deal. Like, at no other point in this entire playthrough thingamajiggy are we ever going to be releasing lots and lots of dinosaurs. Like, which other dinosaur in the entire film? Oh, Gallimimus. Okay, maybe we'll add a second hatchery for the Gallimimus. Ah, now, before we do this, actually, we need to
Asset has been delivered.
design this gate up a little bit. So, let's hop over here. I want to recreate roughly what I did, but then again, I might just make it up. I think we're just going to make it up. We'll double gate it, though. We are going to stick with, of course, we're not using any concrete walls. We do have concrete walls over there, but that's just for, that's a separate, secret little thing. That's not really part. We'll probably end up destroying the hatchery area at the very least, but we shall see what happens later on. No commitments, not yet. Okay, let's try get this relatively even. Which is harder than it looks. That's what I tell my ex. Never mind, I'm not making that joke. Let's just stick that there. Okay, that's not even slightly close. BestInSlot. From that angle, it's slightly close. Let's just stick a fence in there and see what it looks like. Okay, I think that's actually substantially better than it initially looks. Actually, I think that's pretty much perfect. I'm pretty much a genius. Is what I'm getting from this. Okay, then carrying on. One thing I'm very excited to do is use. No, I'm not going to do that. We're going to use the heavy electrified steel fence. That's going to be for the Tyrannosaurus Rex paddock specifically. Okay, maybe this side can feel a little bit less intense just because this is where the Brachiosaurus is. So I don't necessarily want it to feel like a, you know, I don't know. I just want to build like interesting little gatey shapes just to facilitate some excitement in the journey. Don't know what the hell I'm actually doing, but when is that ever not the case? I'll double that up. I think that's fine. That's it. Right, let's put the path back into there. As much as possible. I've gone in a little bit closer. Perfect. Release the dinosaurs. Okay, that's 6 or something. I don't know. I think we've got 2 going over right now, so that's 4, 5, 6 once those 2 are done. Yeah, we're nearly there, we're nearly there. How you guys doing? We're going to take a look at that, but I want them all in there before we do that. Let's go focus on this. This is taking longer than expected. So, guests.
Asset has been transported.
Now, obviously, I wish I could have an actual welcome center. That would be much, much cooler, but is it in operations? It is in operations, right? Unfortunately, we have to make do with the innovation center. Now, it does sit pretty much right on top of the path. Alright. I want it about smack bang in the middle of the lake, like so. Badonk-a-donk. And we're not going to bother powering it, because who cares? And there's no pylons in the film, so there's not going to be pylons in the game. I was just having a little think. What I should have done here, this would be the point where we start to now use this road instead. I think that's going to look really cool by the end. Wherein we've got 2 different forms of road. I do wish I could use the thick one, but those stupid flags in the middle are kind of stopping me. But yeah, you start off on like a dirt path kind of thing. It's not really a dirt path, but it's as close as we're going to get. And then when you drive around here, you're onto the official track. You know, you're onto the tour track. How is this path possibly not connected? Maybe it's just going to complain for a little bit. Okay, so there is more stuff that needs doing. Well, let's get more of our parasaurs shipped over first of all. There we go. Shoot them all in the face. Lovely stuff.
Setting additional tasks.
Alright, so there's 3 more there. There's 3 there. There's 2 there. Done, I believe. Once those 3 are out.
En route to pick up the asset.
It's so nice being able to have, you know, just massive exhibits for once. It's a shame that massive exhibits achieve nothing in reality in this game, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay, right, whilst all that's going on then. I'm looking at pictures of the visitor center. And I think this area right here is, like, basically it's pretty surrounded by forest, but there is like a little area just to the right and to the left. And you can kind of tell it is, right, because they drive over to the Dilophosaurus area, and the Dilophosaurus area is super foresty. But That area right there, I think, has to stay clear. I think the rest of this area is going to be pretty much forest. I mean, you don't really see it properly. I'm not sure how foresty it's meant to be. I'm going to keep a little bit of a gap there and a little tiny gap about there. Because that's as much as I know, basically. Looking at the water, again, it's not something we really see, but I believe it is basically flanked entirely by forest. We're going to put some trees and stuff in there. There are lily pads in it in the film. Namely in this area here, so we want to put those in there. And then some towards the back, like so. No. Yeah, more like that. They don't quite look like lily pads, but hey, it's as close as we're going to get. I think that looks... How are you not connected? Are you kidding me right now? Seriously? I mean, okay. I mean, it doesn't matter. The only problem I have with it is these annoying little path symbols, but they are always going to be there. I can't do anything about that without connecting tons of paths coming out from there, and that's going to look stupid. So, I guess this is what we're going to have to deal with. One thing I do want to do, someone mentioned this, we need to shut the park. Jurassic Park isn't ready to be opened. Get out of here, humans. Who I can't imagine are having a great time anyway, if we're honest. Because they're basically just looking at a power station. It's a fine power station. It's a very nice power station. But, don't think I'd pay God knows how many dollars to go see it. So. Parasaurs, assemble.
En route to collect the asset.
And then all we need is a couple more Brachiosaurus. There are 3 Brachiosaurs, 8 Parasaurs. God knows what I'm going to do when it comes to the Gallimimus, because I think there might be about 30 of them. But hey, if there's 30 of them, I will count them. I will count the majority of the Gallimimus and try to get them all in there. God knows I do nothing else with my life other than count dinosaurs anyway. Right, I want this to be foresty. As they drive off. Ah, do I though? Because I said I was going to do the raptor hatchery. Maybe just a little forest to kind of separate this area from this area. And then over here into the Dilophosaur. I'm going to run out of room already. How does it look, though? Let's compare it to the image I have on my screen. I mean, I don't think there's much else more I can do to make it look like it's part of the film. I think maybe a little bit of tree in here, like a tiny tree if possible. Like, a bit more like that, yeah. Yeah, a little bit more like that, that's better. More there. I mean, I'm open to suggestions, folks. Any ideas you have to make this seem more like the film, but in the context, I think that might be the closest we are going to get. And hey, it looks nice. I want to maybe cover this back bit a bit more. Like so. Very cool. Right, moving on then. Let's go back over here. Shoot some more dinosaurs in the facial regions.
Confirming task.
Oh, right, okay. Maybe we should make my helicopter a little less terrible. Go for a nice shiny orange as well. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Let me do some maths. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we're sorted. It is time for 2 more Brachiosauruses. 85. We don't need to take that risk. We can get rid of this and go for success rate. And there we go. That is every dinosaur for that final, well, that first paddock, I should say. Final paddock! Final paddock! One thing I'm really excited to do as well with this is, oops, Daisy. Come here, you. Get down there. As you drive around, we can change the time of day. So yeah, you're in the visitor center, you see Dilophosaurus, and you get to the maybe to the Triceratops, and we can change the time of day to dusk. I think that's probably the most appropriate. And then you get to the T.rex, and we're going to make it nighttime, and we'll buff up the weather and stuff like that. I think that'd be very cool. Apparently, there's a problem with the sandbox settings. I'm just gonna where heavy storms or something doesn't. Let's make it rainy for a little bit. Make it interesting. Where heavy storms doesn't summon twisters, or the weather in this park just flat out doesn't work, which might be the case.
Asset has been collected.
I think they said they're going to patch this. Complete. I actually didn't realise this was a problem, but the rain clearly doesn't work. However, I'm pretty sure heavy storms works, right?
Asset transportation complete.
I'm sure it's worked in the past. I'm going to leave it on for a minute. We can turn it off if need be. One thing I do want to do is shoot more dinosaurs in the face. Oh, don't need to do that. That's our final parasaur right there. And we'll probably give them all stupid names at some point, I'm sure. Just want to get them all over there and happy. I'd like to add a gyrosphere to this as well. Gyrospheres can't go through gates though. How's that going to work? Can gyrospheres go through gates? I don't think so. People have suggested a gyrosphere because it'd be really nice to see it from that kind of point of view, you know? That camera. Why is it in operations? Is it in operation? Where the hell's the gyrosphere? I'm sure it's in guests. Oh, it's in closures. Of course it is. I don't think they can go through gates.
Asset in transit.
This is never going to work. I'm just trying something out, basically. No, I mean, there's no way of making that work at this point. You'd have to build the whole thing with the gyrosphere in mind, and if I'm going to choose between the gyrosphere and the Jeep, I'm definitely going to choose the Jeep, because the Jeep has that 1993 aesthetic that we're looking for, you know? Let's get a nice shot of the Innovation Center for the thumbnail. I mean, it's not... With the lake and I want to get the path in, because the path is actually an important point of it feeling like the visitor center, I think. It's not a million miles off. Okay, the building itself is entirely wrong, but the actual area, I mean, I'm looking at a picture now off the Jurassic Park Visitor Center, and for me, it's pretty close, I've got to say. I mean, it's hardly complicated building work, but shut up. I'll do. Okay, we're just waiting on our Brachiosaurus. You are getting moved across. We're looking pretty good. Let's drive over. Let's have a little experience of it. Where's my Jeep? Ah, there it is. By the way, people keep asking me this, right? Because there's no button. Look in the bottom left. Dart rifle, take photo, space, and for handbrake and back. But if you press the H key on PC, it's a little horn. But the game never actually tells you that. You just have to kind of guess. I don't know why, but hey, it's kind of weird now that I think about it. Bonk.
Asset transportation in progress. Asset delivery confirmed.
One thing I might do is, I think when this is done, we're going to do like a final tour video, maybe even with Jurassic Park music over the top, and I'll just kind of get screwed over by copyright, it's fine. But I think you want to plug in like an Xbox controller so you can move the Jeep really slowly. Obviously with a PC, to kind of move the Jeep slowly, you have to kind of like just tap on the key, and it gives it a little bit of a jump start. But I'd like the Jeep to roll slowly across the world, like it's actually on a tour, you know? I think this might be perfect. Oh, the Brachiosaurus is coming in right now. Let's go in. Let's go in. Helicopter, you're ruining it. Although, let's go take a look at the Parasaurus anyway. And while we're here, got a little resupply. In theory, the Parasaurs should stay down there. Now, they are only hanging around the feeder right now. Well, there's two of them on the water's edge, you can kind of see as well. Very cool. I love this Jeep, man. God, I wish there was more like this in the game. I hear right away that apparently they did actually want like loads of this retro 1993 Jurassic Park stuff in the game, but it just didn't make it into the final cut. But that does give me a little faith, at least, that maybe we'll get it at some point. Because this Jeep is honestly one of my favourite things in the entire game. It looks awesome. It looks... Design-wise, it stands above pretty much everything else in the game. I'd love to see more of it. And it's not just because it's the classic 1993 Jeep, it's just... There's something about it. Let's go look at our Parasaurs. They have kind of just spread out along the water's edge, haven't they? One thing I'd really like... Oh, look at that! That's a pretty cool shot. One thing I'd really like is the ability to have like invisible fences, because I'd like to block off this area here. And I'd also like to block off like a line along sort of the top of the ridge, right? The idea being to keep the Brachiosaurus, this Brachiosaurus, up here in this main area. Now, some of you have suggested putting a fence along here, but I think I'd rather have the open aesthetic off that area rather than and risk the Brachiosaurus wandering around rather than having a fence going through the middle. I just think that's going to look stupid. I can't bring myself to do it. How you doing, love? You doing okay? Looking fantastic.
Taking back control.
Oh, no, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. Let's nip over here. Might fill that area on the right with some trees. We'll see. Just trying to take it slow. And that right hand side needs a few more trees, maybe. Welcome to Jurassic Park. That's pretty cool. It's pretty similar, I think, in some ways. Oh, actually, now that I think about it, if we're going to take a screenshot, we should do it with the Jeep outside. The Jeep is an important part of these screenshots. It's a character in of itself, you know? Although you can't see the bloody thing anyway, unless I go, like, here, right? Jeep, it's because it's in the shadow side. Like, this side, you can see the whole bloody thing, but that's not how the lighting works. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Okay, never mind. There we go. Right, yeah, pretty happy with it so far. Pretty happy with it. Now, the other thing I've been thinking of is how on earth would I ever replicate the Jurassic Park gates? And I don't think it's possible. I think it's so impossible that it might be worth not trying, you know? Because I think it's going to look stupid. Basically, I just don't see a way of it working. I want some more trees down here, right? Because this right side is where the light's hitting, it seems more open than the left side, despite not being as open, so I just wanted to plug that in a little bit. And a few more over here. There we go. I love that you're staying up here, buddy. We're going to have to put a feeder down here and hope that the other Brachiosaurus kind of stay away from here, basically, from the top side. We'll put that there. Maybe cover it in a few trees. Like so. Lovely stuff. Can't see the bloody thing at all. Exactly what I want. How are we doing on the other Brachies? Nearly there. Lovely stuff. It's going to be cool, this. Yeah, how would we build it, though? I mean, the only option I can think of at the moment, right, is using, like, concrete. And then putting a fence in. But that... It isn't what it looks like, you know? What you'd want to do, actually, now that I think about it. I'm just going to try something, right? So, electrified concrete. They same size, yeah. The problem is you can't replicate that kind of feeling it has wherein it, oh, yeah, I forgot that doesn't work. Oopsie daisy. Stop that right now. Oh. It's really hard to replicate that feeling wherein... Oh, what is going on? It's not going to work, let's put it that way. It's not really a way to do it, unfortunately, that I can see. Which is a shame, but I'm going to enjoy this moment like I always do. Music instantly changes. That low, grumbling noise that sounds like it's coming from the earth itself. This is a... yeah. Every time it gets me. I will never get tired of it. It's the only one that, at least the first time each day, I will watch that. Because I can't bring myself to skip it. I really cannot. I'm just trying to think if there's anything in this... What I was thinking is maybe we could use a building of some form to... like part of the hatchery, maybe. Or something, and then kind of obscure it with forest in order to give it the impression of the Jurassic Park gates. But I really just... I think it's a big loss, by the way, that they haven't included it in any form. Like, I realise that they're over here, but it's not quite the same, is it? And just let me put that... Just give me a decoration that lets me put that down. I don't know why that's not a thing. Then again, I don't know why half the things in this game aren't in the game. Does that make sense? I don't care. Pretend it made sense. You, down there.
Collecting asset.
I figure if we put them in the right place, they'll stick to the right place. This Brachiosaur up here Has no reason to go down there. Now, the problem is, because there's going to be multiple Brachiosaurs, maybe they're going to want to socialize. So maybe they will end up grouping up. But for now, this one's got a little bit of water, a little bit of a tree. It's got all he needs to be a happy, happy Brachiosaur. She's got all she needs to be a happy, happy Brachiosaur. Planning ahead. Is that... I mean, could I put that down and then build a raptor hatchery around it with concrete and stuff? Maybe. I think you'd be better building like an electric concrete fence, filling it with forest, and then using other fences around it to kind of give it a feeling. We're so limited in so many ways, it's going to be hard to do. So if nothing else, what we'll do is we'll just build the Dilophosaurus here. So we'll just build the path straight forward along there. That'll curve over to the left, Triceratops up there, and we'll just fill this with forest and put in a few Dilophosaurs, and that'll be it, basically. And we'll just wait now for our noble Brachiosauruses to make the trip across. And whilst they're doing that, we need to hop into the Jeep. Don't know why it's said like that. Majestic creatures, aren't they? Majestic. One day, I hope, my Jeep will turn into a ghost. And I'll just magically go through that door. Not like fire. Fire's not a ghost, stupid. Wait, no. Fire can't go through doors, stupid. It's not a ghost. Reference. Onwards. Badonk-a-donk. You, back up the hill. Come here. You're not allowed down there. I need lures and beacons and invisible fences and like a billion other things to make this work how I'd like it to work. Come back up the hill! Stop walking down! Up, I say! Maybe if I go in front of it, I can scare it back up. I'm scarier than a Brachiosaurus. I might be like a fifth of the size, but whatever. Yeah! I think I just moved it quicker in the direction I didn't want it to go. Oh, no, you stayed down. Okay, all I succeeded in there was scaring away my very nicely placed parasaurs and moving the Brachiosaurus quicker downhill. At the end of the day, I'm airlifting in it some friends. It's always going to be a little excited by that. That's fair enough. I'm not going to blame you, pal. Break. Stop.
Asset delivery. Delivery has been completed.
Wait, what's with that? What? I saw a little... Oh, okay. Okay, there. Right there. Bam. That Brachiosaurus is a little closer than I'd like, but hey. Where have all the parasaurs come over here? I'll give them a minute to try to reconvene on the right-hand side. Jeep, stay here. It's weird when you see them moving identically. Da-da, da-da. 1, 2. Excuse me? Get down there, Sonny Jim. Mush! Mow diddy mow. Running all the way. Other references. There we go. Look at that. They're moving in herds. They do move in herds. And saying that, they actually don't move in herds at all in this game. In the slightest. But, yeah, it's what it is. It's Jurassic Park. The parasaurs maybe need to move a bit further onto the right hand side, but hey, this is basically that first exhibit done. I'm pretty happy with it. I think this is as close as you can reasonably expect to get to the film. I think it's a pretty much one-to-one recreation in a lot of ways. This is going to be more difficult later on into the film, but for now, I'd say this is pretty sweet. As always, open to suggestions. No idea how I'm going to do the raptor hatchery, but like I say, I have seen someone else do it. I think it looks pretty cool, so I will happily steal their design and credit them, of course, but I will take a little look online. But if not, next episode we will instead do the Dilophosaurus paddock and probably work a little bit on the Triceratops as well. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope I answered some of your questions at the start of this video. We will be back with another episode of this on Tuesday. We're going to do sort of an every other content day kind of thing, and I take Sundays off. And just because I don't want to go through it too quickly, I really want to enjoy the series, and it does take a little bit of planning and effort effort, so, you know, I need a little time before episodes and stuff like that. But if you enjoyed this episode and the first, do hit that subscribe button. There'll be lots more Jurassic World Evolution and other dinosaur content. Please do hit the like button to show your support. It really helps me out and lets me know that you guys love the series and want to see more of it. That's enough talking from me at the end of the bloody video. I nearly swore, whoopsie daisy. Cheers, much love, as always. Bye-bye. Quick little shout out at the end. This video and others like it would not be possible at all without the support of you guys watching me at home, and also everyone on this Patreon page right here who supported me in the last month. If you want to help out as well, you can do so at patreon.com/bestinslot. Every little really helps. Cheers.